Jesse, with that first glance here, who is Jesus? Who do people say he is? Easy question, right? Wrong. Jesus himself asked Peter this question, and Jarod and Pastor Michael are going to talk about Peter's response and how important that answer to that question was. Let's get into it.
Welcome back to At First Glance. My name is Jarod Wasson.
And I'm Pastor Michael Mueller. It's good to be back with you here at First Lutheran Church in Janesville.
It's so good to be back. It's been a while since our last episode, about a week now.
Which is less than the previous one.
Which is less than the previous one, which was several months.
Yeah.
So we're getting better with our scheduling here.
Yes.
That's good. We got a fun one today. We're starting off today with Matthew 16, 13 for 20 for those of you at home. And this is where Peter has his confession of faith to who Jesus is. Mm-hmm. That's pretty exciting. There's some good stuff in here. This is one of my favorite verses in all of the Bible right in here.
Really?
Yeah, it sure does.
It's a turning point in Matthew's gospel. So.
Well, there we go.
Yeah.
Matthew knows he's a good writer. He knows what he's doing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. If you've seen The Chosen, this is a good Chosen episode too. I think it's season 2, but I could be wrong.
I don't know.
Yeah, fair. All right. What do we need? What do we got for context this week, Pastor?
Well, I mean, we've had the story last week of kind of that conflict with the Pharisees and Sadducees. That has continued. Mm. Jesus has just been warning his disciples against the teaching of Pharisees and Sadducees. Don't get kind of caught up in that. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of that continuing contrast of the message that Jesus is offering compared to the old way of understanding things.
Right. And then we come to a big thing.
The question comes to the disciples now.
Mm-hmm. Should we get into it?
Yeah, let's hear it.
All right. If you're following along at home, again, this is Matthew 16, 13 through 20.
This is Matthew 16, 13 through 20 out of the New Living Translation. When Jesus came to the region of Caesarea Philippi, he asked his disciples, "Who do people say that the Son of Man is?" "Well," they replied, "some say John the Baptist, some say Elijah, and others say Jeremiah or one of the other prophets." And then he asked them, "But who do you say I am?" And Simon Peter answered, "You are the Messiah, the Son of the living God." And Jesus replied, "You are blessed, Simon, son of John, because my Father in heaven has revealed this to you. You did not learn this from any human being. Now I say to you that you are Peter," which means rock, "and upon this rock I will build my church, and all the powers of hell will not conquer it. And I will give you the keys of the kingdom of heaven. Whatever you forbid on earth will be forbidden in heaven, and whatever you permit on earth will be permitted in heaven." And then he sternly warned the disciples not to tell anyone that he was the Messiah.
That's our reading for today.
That is it.
I mean, it's a quick one. So one of the big things that I really love, this is my favorite part of the entire Bible, mm-hmm. is because we get this I think we get this confused a lot. In verse 18 here it says, "I tell you, you are Peter, and on this rock I will build my church, and the gates of hell will not prevail against it." The gates of hell will not prevail against it. A lot of times we think that like we're under attack from hell, mm-hmm. but gates tend not to attack things, right? Mm-hmm. They're a defensive structure. Mm-hmm. Gates are the ones being attacked.
Right.
And so this is saying that we're really on the offensive against hell, mm-hmm. which I think is really cool. Mm-hmm. So that gives us a lot of responsibility.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yeah, and I'm reading from the Common English Bible version, which translates that the gates of the underworld won't be able to stand against it, which implies that the gates aren't going to be able to hold because they're being pressed upon.
Yes.
So
it's like I think of Lord of the Rings. Mm-hmm. Right at the end, Return of the King. Mm-hmm. Have you seen them? You know what I'm talking about? Yeah. Where Aragorn goes and knocks on the big black gate,
Uh-huh.
and then it opens up, and then all the orcs of Mordor file out and surround them. I'm thinking of the movie. Don't judge me. I have not read the book yet. I'm getting to it. It's very long. Okay, I've read Fellowship, but I'm not. Anyway, so in the movie they go around and surround the Aragorn and his troop from Gondor. It's a very small troop, and then he's just surrounded by like orcs and trolls and others, and he's just like, all right, here we go, and then he just runs in. It's my favorite part. I love it, and that's how I see this. We are the small group of men and alliance people, elves. I think maybe there was some dwarves, well, at least one dwarf in there, right? Gimli.
Right.
Yep. Yeah. So they're all just rushing in, and there's no fear on theirs, or maybe there is, but they're not acting on their fear. They're acting on their courage, and they're attacking Mordor, and that's how I see the followers of Christ in the world.
Uh-huh. And he follows that up with, I have given you the keys of the kingdom of heaven.
That's right.
So, this contrast between heaven and hell, or heaven and Hades. The kingdom of heaven is opening here. And it has to do with forgiveness. Anything you loosen on earth will be set loose in heaven. And that's the core meaning of the word that we translate forgive, is to loosen, to let loose, to set free. So,
what about that binding? Whatever we bind on earth will be bound in heaven. Is that just the inverse?
I think that's the inverse, but the emphasis, and it'll come through further on here, is that call to forgive. They'll ask Jesus, how many times do we have to forgive? 7 times?
7 times 7 times.
Yeah, so it means this invitation to forgive, and the part of the prayer, to forgive us our sins as we forgive those who sin against us. Jesus definitely is encouraging that loosening.
Absolutely.
What else do you hear of this?
Oh boy, there's so much. I mean, so there's this question here. Who do people say that the Son of Man is? And then he almost just brushes off their answer like, that doesn't really matter. Who do you say that I am now? That's what matters. And then that's what he's responding to, this entire chunk of text. And I think the question, it comes to us too. Who do I say that? Who does Jarod say that he is? Who does Pastor Michael say that he is? And that's one of those questions I think that must come to each one of us. And if we do truly believe that Jesus Christ is the Son of God, then just like Simon or Peter now, it's not like a basic thing that we've come to. That's an extraordinary like awakening that's been given to us as a gift. So I think that's pretty fun.
Yeah, I mean, I think certainly the question in the story turns from the crowds to the disciples, but as the reader, it automatically comes to us. Like, what do we say? What is the answer we give? I've just read through the prophets in the Old Testament.
Oh, okay.
And one of the things that strikes me, having read through all of those, is that there's this continual theme: idolatry and injustice. And they're just calling out idolatry and injustice. You're putting your trust in someplace else rather than in God, and your life and community is a mess because you're not caring for the people that you're called to care for. You're not living out the instruction that God has given you. And there's going to be consequences for that. You know, they're constantly naming the destruction that's going to come from the Assyrian Empire, the Babylonian Empire, or whatever empire follows after that. But in the midst of all of that, there's continually this return to an anticipation of a faithful king who will come, and there will be a restoration of the people of God. They're going to come back to their home, and God will restore them to something really wonderful and beautiful, and that relationship is not ended because God is faithful.
Right.
So I mean, it's pointing toward this one to come. So that's the profound thing in here, is that Peter's naming Jesus as that one.
Yeah. Really important declaration here.
So it's true, and it's understandable that others hear him as a prophet.
Yeah.
Because he's calling out idolatry and injustice against the leadership of the time.
Yeah, common theme. But he's doing more too. He's fulfilling all these prophecies that the prophets have foretold, basically. And people are starting to recognize that. He's healing the sick, he's setting the prisoners free. Not always in the way we expect, or that they expect, but he shows it, he's doing it.
So, the one that the prophets said would come, Peter said, "You're the one. You're here." And that's going to be controversial.
Yeah.
Because it's that people had a notion of what that ought to look like.
Right.
And it will be different from that. But
well, people were expecting a military leader at this point. And Jesus is not that, and he's pretty profoundly not that. And so they reject him, I think, because of that.
But again, having read the prophets, it's just like there's this cycle. It just continues endlessly.
Yeah.
It was the case when Israel first came out of Egypt. You know, like they got caught in this cycle, and throughout the prophets, it's the same thing. And like, when is that going to end?
Right.
It's got to be something new. It can't just be one more revolution of the old cycle.
Right.
So the gospel presents something new. Will we trust in that is the question.
Well, that's the hard part. We can see it coming, but to put your trust in something that you can't really see like that is tough. And they struggle with it as much as we do. But Peter here, not struggling with it at this moment.
At this moment.
He struggles with it later and gets called out. But at this moment, he's okay. Yeah. And then he gets renamed, which God has this long history of renaming people. Sarai and Abram to Sarah and Abraham. And there's many more. But here's yet another. Simon to Peter. Peter meaning rock. And that's pretty exciting for him, I bet. But then, I don't know if you've noticed this, as you go through the Gospels still, if he's being bad, he calls him Simon again. Have you noticed that? It's pretty fun.
I haven't paid close attention to that, but yeah. You're a rock, and on this rock, I build my church.
Yep. That's another comforting thing. Jesus says, on this rock I'll build my church, right? Something that is his. And that can give us comfort too, because we know it's not like a man-made institution, but a God-made one. Even though it's full of flawed humans like you and I, the foundation of it is still set on stone rather than sand.
Trust in God.
Trusting God. Yep. Trusting God. Attack hell.
Well,
you can cut that if you want.
Well, for this moment, Peter is the rock.
Yes.
Come back next week, and we'll hear the next piece of the story.
True. He's the original rock. Like what's his name? Jesse, give me a popcorn Jesse, The Rock.
Dwayne The Rock Johnson?
Dwayne The Rock, he's the original The Rock.
Uh-huh.
Simon Peter. Now you get it.
I
What
don't
else?
get it.
You see, The Rock is, this is for Eric specifically. The Rock is, he was. Good, we can cut all of this. That's fine.
I'll pick and choose.
All right, so what do we got? What is our takeaways from this story? Who do you say that I am? I would say is one. That's a good one. Fight hell! That's a 2 for me.
You have the keys.
You have the key. Yeah.
Unlock, unloose,
You can bind and loose.
forgive.
7 times? No.
77 times.
77, which is not actually the number we're talking about. It's actually it means
Keep doing
forever.
it.
Yeah.
Keep doing it.
Yeah. It's like there's some context there, but we won't get into it right now. This is a silly episode.
Uh-huh.
And then finally, we didn't get into this last sentence, but he also orders the disciples not to tell anyone that he's the Messiah. That's not our takeaway, but they don't do that anyway. So, what do you think he does that? We're so out of order here.
It's fine.
I think that he says that because they don't get it yet.
Oh, fair. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, they don't know who they're looking for
Yeah.
quite yet. Yeah.
I mean, this is the first moment that he's identified as the Messiah. So they need to understand that more before they tell that to the world.
Makes sense. Well, good.
Until next week.
Till next week. Thank you for joining us. This has been At First Glance.
See you next week.
Wrestler, like John Cena. You know John Cena?
No.
Okay.
Have you seen Moana?
Have you seen Moana?
Moana, what's that?
The Disney movie
He's
Moana?
not
Wow.
seen it.
No.
This is rough. You seen Red One?
Red One.
Yes.
No.
It's about
Have you seen The Mummy 2: Return of the Scorpion King?
Scorpion King.
No.
No! Wow. You've just completely avoided Dwayne The Rock Johnson for the last 30 years,
That's
Pastor.
awesome. He's in
I have
everything. He's in everything.
It's actually really impressive at this point, yeah.
That's pretty good. But anyway, the original The Rock. What else? Going for there? That was a tangent. There you go. There's your thumbnail for the day. Just Dwayne The Rock Johnson.
I'll
I'm
look
gonna
it up.
edit Peter's head onto The Rock's body. It's gonna
You
be
should.
great.
Yes, from The Chosen. That's thumbnail.